Hey guys, welcome to question MM195 of the Maths Methods Fortify study guide. We've got this function f of x equals x cubed take 12x squared plus 48x take 62. And the first question, part A, tells us to find the coordinates of the stationary points of the function. And I do need to write that x is an element of -2, positive 2 to 6. Sweet. Fantastic. So, stationary points. What are they? Flat points. So whenever you see the word stationary points, that means find the points where the gradient is equal to 0. Before we can find where the gradient is equal to 0, we actually need to find a function for the gradient. So this is f of x, and keeping in mind, guys, that our gradient function is f dash of x, where we differentiate each one of these terms. So bring 3 down to the front and take 1 off the power, 3x squared, take that 2 comes out the front, times by the 12, take 1 off the power, becomes x, and then 48x just becomes 48. So that's our f dash of x. Now, our stationary points occur when f dash of x is equal to 0, which means that 0 is equal to 3x squared, take 24x plus 48. And each one of these terms actually has a common factor of 3, so I'm just going to take that out now. 3 times x squared take 8x plus 16. And we divide both sides by 3, that just removes the 3. X squared take 8x plus 16. From here we can factorize that to x minus 4, so x minus 4 squared. Square rooting both sides, we get 0 equals x take 4, therefore x equals 4. Awesome. So that's our first mark, guys. This is a 2-mark question, and that's our first mark, finding that the stationary point occurs at x equals 4. So this has given us our x value, but it didn't just ask for the x value, it said find the coordinates. So we need to use this x value to find our y value of the coordinate. So f of 4 is equal to 4 cubed minus 12 times 4 squared plus 48, 4 take 62. Awesome. 4 cubed is 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64. 4 squared is 16. 12 times 16 is 192. 48 times 4 is 192 again. So plus 192 minus 62. So these minus 192 plus 192 cancel. 64 minus 62 is 2. Awesome. Which means that the coordinate of the stationary point occurs at 4, 2. Awesome. That's our second mark. So that's it for part A. Because there's only one term here that's squared, we only have one stationary point. And because this is a cubic, it actually tells us that it's going to have a point of inflection, right? Because it only has one stationary point. So that's actually going to feed into our next part of this question. So for part, I should have rubbed that out. 12x squared. Sorry guys, just going to rewrite this. Plus 48x take 62. Awesome. Our second part is all about sketching. So part B, which is also worth 2 marks. B, 2 marks. Now part B asks us to sketch the graph of f of x on the axes below, indicating the endpoints and stationary points. So first of all, we need to actually figure out what our endpoints are. We know that our stationary point occurs at 4, 2, because we worked it out in the previous part, and we need to figure out our endpoints. So we know that our endpoints occur at x equals 2 and x equals 6, because they're the restrictions on our domain. So we just need to plug our x values in to find our y values. So f of 2 is equal to, 2 cubed, take 12 times 2 squared plus 48 times 2 take 62. 2 cubed is 8. 2 squared is 4 times 12 is 48. 48 times 2 is 96. Take 62. And this comes out at -6. Awesome. Which means that we have an endpoint at 2, -6. Sweet. Now, next is f of 6. So we get 6 cubed, take 12, 6 squared plus 48 times 6, take 62, and that comes out at 10, which means that we have another endpoint at 6, 10. Fantastic. So we know our stationary point is at 4, 2. We know our endpoint is at 2, -6, and our other endpoint is at 6, 10, which means that we can now graph this. It's horrible. So we're going from 2, which is going to be here, 4, 6. Awesome. Cool. So we're going to say that this is -6, and we need a closed circle on either side of our domain because we have square brackets here, so it's included in that. Our stationary point occurs at 4, 2, right here, and our other endpoint occurs at 6, 10, which is going to be somewhere up here. Awesome. Comes up here, stationary point here, goes up like that. So labeling everything apart from our axis intercept, as the question says, and that's simply because this is a non-calculated question, you won't be able to find it. This is 2, -6, 6, 10, and that's it, guys. So just make sure you label your endpoints and your stationary point. But other than that, this is a 2-mark question, and your 2 marks basically come from drawing the graph. They'll pretty much give you 2 marks to start with, and then take marks off depending on what you don't include. And those things are the endpoints and the stationary points. So guys, if you have any questions about this, please hit me up in the comments below. But otherwise, thanks for watching and have an awesome day.